All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me and learning more about my study. My name is John O'Malley. I'm coming at you today from Tucson, Arizona. I am visiting here. I live in Denver, Colorado. Travel up to Wyoming on Mondays and Wednesdays. So again, thank you for being up here with me today. So my study is really looking at what are the lived experiences of college students with learning disabilities. And the reason I chose this as my topic is because um, there's a lot of literature out there helping bridge the academic gap, but not necessarily understanding how more of the lived experiences of folks with learning disabilities. I think this quote really highlights the importance of why the study was important. So I'll read it to you. It says, "The day we're diagnosed as disabled is one of those memories that burns too bright ever to go away. It sits at the core of our identity, bridging our consciousness and our subconsciousness, holding the key to our development, and it flickers like the buzz of a white fluorescent light bulb." So because of that, it's easy to transition into the idea that having a learning disability is bound to have an effect on someone's sense of self. And the literature kind of points out to the idea that there's this gap between, um, there's this hole where we focus on just the academic achievement gap, but not necessarily on the wellness or well-being of folks with a learning disability. So the methodology that I chose to use for my study is a phenomenology. It was kind of a hard choice because I was going back and forth between phenomenology and case study. Because case study looks as a bounce at a time, I decided to go with the phenomenology so that I could be open to hearing more of, if they want to go back into their lifespan a little bit, I could do that. Um, so just a little highlights of why I chose the phenomenology. I'm looking at the meaning of the lived experiences that participants put to those, and maybe try to look at themes um, that folks have around having a living disability. So when talking about what a learning disability is, I'm actually using the definition from the DSM-5 in this text. I know it's a lot up there. I'm breaking all the rules of PowerPoint, but I felt like I should put this up there. Um, this is kind of the definition of a learning disability. And to put plainly, the best way to describe it is a gap between academic achievement and academic potential. Because one has that potential, they qualify for a learning disability. It's just that we're not able to, we haven't found the right kind of avenue or avenue to help learn. So that's kind of how we view um, a learning disability. So these are the different criteria that must be met to, in a sense, qualify for a learning disability. So my overall research question is, what are the lived experiences of college students with learning disabilities? And these are kind of my sub-questions. So I asked my participants to share their experience in having a learning disability, to share any major events that come to mind in regards to having a learning disability, to tell me about the people that influenced them in their lives. My participants were, I asked two students to help me with the study. The names are, I changed them to help protect confidentiality. So Jen is a 21-year-old junior in college, and Kat is a 19-year-old first-year student. So the interviews were held in my office at Johnson and Wales University. And materials that were used in this were an iPhone, so I can record, and then I used the technology in Vito to kind of help me find themes within the data. So my results were, first was relief. So both participants and an overall kind of theme was that there was relief in this idea of a label, that they can go ahead and explain why they were struggling with learning, which I thought was interesting. And these are kind of like the quotes that they said. It made more sense because I had a feeling I had it for a while. Or mom was like, "Why isn't she learning? Why is she behind her classmates? She blamed herself And then she's like, oh, she's dyslexic, kind of showing the meaning of relief that they're putting to these. The other thing that I kind of came about was like how anxiety-provoking reading could be for the participants. They kind of shared experiences of how they would count ahead to make sure they could, start to prepare to read because it was so anxiety-provoking speak in front of others. And the last one is the role both the mothers played. It seemed like for these participants, both their mothers were really strong presence in their lives to help advocate and navigate these things. So that was another theme. So that's just a very short kind of snapshot of my study. And again, I'm excited for future research in this because much of the literature out there is on the bridging the gap but not understanding those experiences. And as a counselor, I'm really hoping to dive more into this research so that we can provide the right training to counselors so that we can help this population. Again, thanks for joining me on this study, and hope all of you have a great day.